Okay, thank you so much for joining me in this lecture. This is Gurpal Singh from Gursar Education, and as you all know that we are making the series regarding the mathematical reasoning, and I have delivered you a lot of lecture regarding these. And I have taught you regarding the basic structure like number series, then coding, decoding, letter series, then blood relations test, and all the things we have already covered. Most importantly, and recently, we have covered the topics regarding time, distance, things. So speed, time, and distance has been covered recently by us, and you know the structure and everything about our study system. We first of all we clear your concepts, and after that we explain number of questions on the basis of those concepts, and finally you are given the test and notes for solving the equation or questions regarding the different chapters covered under mathematical reasoning. So going by all this system, this lecture is going to be regarding ratio and fraction. So in this video lecture, I am going to teach you the basics regarding the ratio and fractions, and after that we shall be covering some mathematical equations and questions which I shall explain you in detail how you can apply the different concepts regarding ratio and fractions in case of equations. And after solving these equations, you shall be able to answer any kind of questions asked in any kind of examination in India. Whether you are appearing for IBPS, SSC, or UPSC or UGC NET, JRF, or any kind of examination, that chapter is very important. And specifically if we are talking about UGC NET and JRF only, I must tell you, don't be that much demoralized after listening me. Its probability is only 50%, okay, because number of times the question regarding number series, speed, time, and distance, and letter series, and coding, decoding, and blood relation, these are of utmost importance. These chapters are of utmost importance, but as far as the ratio and fractions are concerned, only few times it has been observed that the question has been asked, but still we have to cover this topic in detail. I'm going to teach you in this video lecture. I hope you would enjoy this lecture a lot as you have enjoyed the previous ones. You have to be extremely in touch with all the things whatever I'm going to tell you in this video lecture. So just enjoy this lecture. I'm showing you the screen of what we have prepared for you. All right, so now we are just going to deliver the lecture on a ratio and fractions, and this is going to be next in the series which we have already started regarding mathematical reasoning. You would have experienced that we have given so many lectures in mathematical reasoning, and this is going to be the next in that series. And I must tell you only, I think 2 or 3 concepts or topics are left. After that, our mathematical reasoning shall be completely over. So if we are making the conclusion of all the things, we can get to know that we have done a number series, and after that I have taught you letter series as well. And after that we have studied regarding coding and decoding. That was the most important thing. And after that we have also studied regarding blood relations. Okay, so these are some of the important things which we have already gone through, and some other things as well, like time and distance. That was also the most important part. We have also covered all these things. So this is going to be next in that series, and I must tell you, although this is not this much relevant and this much important from exam point of view as compared to the topics which we have already covered, but going through this is very very important, I must tell you, because it enhances your knowledge, and sometimes the question can be asked from these kind of topics as well. The only thing necessary is you must have the knowledge of making mathematical equations. If you can make the equations, then you can solve these kind of questions in 30 to 45 seconds only. The practice is all yours. So first of all, I'm going to tell you about what is the ratio and what is fraction, and after that we shall explain you so many questions so that you can practice yourself as well how to make mathematical equations. One, these are made then you can easily solve any kind of a question. Okay, so just going to give you the description of that. It do not involve so many concepts to be understood. Okay, so many there are not so many concepts, only one or two concepts are there. Okay, so on the basis of that you can make any kind of a mathematical equation. And I must tell you, practice is must for this chapter. The probability of a question being asked in the examination is only 50%. Okay, so we are never sure that the question shall be asked or not. But whether you are appearing for any examination, whether this is IBPS, this is SSC, this is NET and GRF examination, or any examination in India, whether if this is of competitive examination in nature, this chapter is very important to go through. So there are given some lines and you are asked to make some kind of mathematical ratios or fractions as per the requirement of the question. So just going to tell you what this is about. So if we talk about ratio, what is ratio? So ratio of two quantities. So here have been written two. Okay, that means two items are must, two elements are must for making the ratio. Two elements are must. There must be two elements. So they can be named as anything. We can take the name A and B. We can take name X and Y or anything. Okay. So first of all, there must be two elements. There should have specific name of these two, and that name can be anything. For example, if we are taking the example, that can be A and B. Okay. So the ratio of two quantities A and B in the same units, and they must be in the same units. Okay. So if A is given in rupees, okay, if A is given like 100 rupee, B should also be given in a rupee denomination. Otherwise, if B is given in kilograms or in centimeters or in meters, but A is given in rupees, though you cannot make any kind of ratios between them. So just till this line, you can you can make conclusion regarding three different properties regarding ratio. Ratio is find only for two quantities, and after that two or more than two quantities. After that, all the quantities or elements must have specific names. Like in our case, we are taking the example of A and B only, and they must be in the same units. So, and this is also the condition. And then after that, in the same unit is the fraction. So this is basically a fraction. Okay, so this is written as that. So the chapter name is ratio and fraction. This is written as that. You can write like that. Okay. So if A is given 100 and B is given 50, we can write the ratio like that. 100 divided by 50. A divided by B. So 100 divided by 50. In this way, we can write that. Okay. And the second way to write the ratio between A and B can be A ratio B. So here are columns. Okay. So they are represented like 100 ratio 50. They can be written at that as well. So this is also the way, and this is also the way. So this way of representation is known as the fraction, and this way is the straightforward expression of ratio. When we write any kind of ratio in a fraction, it has two parts. I'm again writing that. Okay. So if I am writing a ratio like that, okay, in fraction, it has two parts. It has upper part and lower part, and after that there is a line between these two things, and it refers to 2. This line refers to 2. Okay, when we write the ratio a to b. Okay, so it is referring to three terms, A to B. So A comes at upper side, and after that 2 is the representation of that divisor line, and then B comes at the lower place. Okay, so there are two figures, upper figure and lower figure. The upper figure is also known as numerator. This is known as numerator. Okay, and the lower figure is also known as denominator. denominator. So these are the names of these two if we are talking about the ratios. So I hope you would have understood till now regarding all these things what I have taught you. So again telling you, the ratio can be found only for two or more than two quantities, and it can be named anything. Anything, all the quantities can be named anything. And the most important thing is they must have the same unit element figures. Like if they are given in units in kilograms, both should be in kilograms. If they are given in meters, both should be in meters. If they are given in rupees, both should be in rupees. So all these things should be covered. These are the basic conditions of that. And you can show the ratio between two elements like that. It can be presented in a fraction as well. This is known as the fraction way of showing the ratio. And it can be showed in this way as well. This is A ratio B. It can be showed in this way as well. If we are showing it in this way, the first, the upper value is known as the numerator and the lower value is known as the denominator. So this is all about that. And if we write it like this, this is known as the first term or antecedent. This is known as first term or antecedent, and the second is known as second term or consequent. Second term or consequent. Okay. So now the question arises. So I think that was all the basic regarding ratio, and the all thing you must remember is how to represent a ratio. There are only two ways you can represent a ratio. Okay, so you can write in this way or you can write in this way. Both these represents to same thing. So now we have to find what kind of questions can be asked in the examination. Although its probability is low, but still we have written so many questions in this video lecture so that we can deliver you, so that in case the question is asked, then you can easily make the mathematical equation of any kind of question. So I hope you would have got the idea of how the things are done in case of a ratio. Okay, so this is all about that. Now I must tell you, for solving this question, you must be very brisk and you must be very intelligent in solving of any kind of a mathematical operation. And when I use the word intelligent, that means you must have the ability to calculate fastly all the mathematical operation. And these are only 4 operations. This is first the operation of addition, then subtraction, then multiplication and division. Only 4 are the operations of mathematics. You must be very fast in these. Okay, only then you can expect these kind of questions to be answered fastly. And when we talk about that, I do not generally mean that you must be able to multiply the figures who are containing so many digits. Like if I'm asking you 5, 9, 8, 7, 3, 4, you are supposed to multiply in 1, 2, 4, 7, 6. I'm not asking these kind of things. Okay, I'm just asking you must be able to quickly recall the basic tables, like table of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, 2 to 9. And after that, your squares, the ability to make the squares in mind, squares and cube in minds of all these elements, these should also be your ability. That should be the part of your ability as well. So just going to show you what kind of questions are there, and I hope you would enjoy this lecture a lot as you have enjoyed the previous ones as well. The question is saying, this is the first question. It is saying that a ratio equivalent to 3:7 is. So the question is saying which of the following is equal to 3:7. Okay, so this is 3:7. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the condition for making 2 ratio equivalent is you must reduce both the ratio to lower terms, and after that you have to see that do they match or not. Okay, so the first is we have been given 3:7. We can write it here like 3 divided by 7. We can write here like 3 divided by 7. So it is all. We can not reduce further. When I say reduce to the lower terms, what does I mean? Okay, understand this carefully. If I'm writing 10 divided by 5. Okay, you can see that both these numerals, both these numbers can be divided at the table of 5. Like I can cut this 5 with the table of 5 and I get the value of 1, and I can cut this 10 again with the table of 5 and I get the value of 2. And here so that I can write 10 divided by 5 to 2 divided by 1, and this is the same as this. Okay, so this is known as the process of reducing to the lower limits, reducing to lower limit, reducing to lower limit. When you have a single table on which, with the help of which you can cut both the numerator and denominator. Again, listen me very carefully. If you have a single table, like in this case, this was the table of 5. So if you have a single table on the basis of which you can cut both the numbers, the number given in the numerator and the number given in the denominator, if you can cut these both, and if you cut that, and whatever the figure to you arrive at, this all process is known as reducing to the lower limits. So first of all, you must reduce both the ratios to the lower limits, and after reducing to the lower limits, if these becomes equal to each other, then that means these ratios are same. So we shall apply this. In this case, we have been asked a ratio is equivalent to 3:7. I hope you would have understood this idea, because I'm just going to rub this. So this is 3 divided by 7. If I am trying to reduce, I get to know that I cannot reduce it further, because there is no table at which 3 and 7 both can be divided. So we cannot reduce it further. And this is the first, this is 3:9, first 3:9. If we cut this, if we can see that with the table of 3 we can reduce these to the lower terms. So we get here 1 and we get here 3, so that we get 1 divided by 3. So you can see 1 divided by 3 is not equal to 3 divided by 7. So 3:9 is not equal to 3 divided by 7. I am explaining you at so much detail, okay, at extreme detail. The reason why I wish to teach you each and every concept. You must be able to learn each and everything necessary for solving any kind of question. Otherwise, I know number of students who are watching this lecture, they would easily understand that which of the following is the answer. But I am going one by one to all the options. The second option is 6:10. So if I'm writing here 6 divided by 10, you can get to know that with the table of 2, you can reduce these further. You can write here 3, you can write here 5. So we get 3 divided by 5. So 3 divided by 5 is not equal to 3 divided by 7. So you cannot say that 6 divided by 10 is equal to 3 divided by 7. Then there is 9:21. So 9:21. How can we reduce that? So first of all, we have to find at which table both these can be deducted. Both these can be divided. So this is the table of 3. With the table of 3, we can reduce these two numbers to lower terms. So I'm just going to do that. If I make division of 3 for 9, I get 3, and if I do this with 21, I get 7. So this is 3 divided by 7. So 3 divided by 7 is equal to 3 divided by 7. So in this way, we can say that 9 divided by 21 is always equal to 3 divided by 7. So in this way, we can prove that. So I have solved all these things just to prove that how two ratios can be made equivalent. I'm again telling you the thing that if after reducing two ratios, after reducing two ratios to their lower limits, after reducing two ratios to their lower limits, if you get similar ratios, then you can say that the ratios are equivalent. And how to reduce? First of all, you have to find a specific table which can be used to divide both numerator and denominator. And if this is a single table which can cut both numerator and denominator, you just have to reduce numerator and denominator on the basis of that table. Then whatever the value you get, this is known as a reduced limit or a reduced terms values. So in this way, we can get to know that 9:21 should be the right answer of this question. And this was the first one. There are a number of questions to come now. So this was the first one. I'm going for the second one. This is the question is saying the ratio of 35 ratio 84 is in a simplest form is what? So I have already explained you the things regarding these. Okay, so whenever this is asking for simplest form, again, what you have to do, you have to reduce both the numerator and denominator to their lower values, to their lower limits. Or how you can reduce? You have to find a specific table at which both the numerator and denominator can be divided. So in this case, we can easily see that with 2 you cannot divide, with 3 you cannot divide, with 4 you cannot divide, with 5 you cannot divide, with 6 you can't divide, but with 7 both the numerator and denominator can be divided further. Okay, so in this way, you have to, first of all, you have to find a specific table, and after that you have to reduce both the numerator and denominator into lower limits. So I'm just going to do that. Okay, this is 35, this is 84, and if I reduce these to lower limits, I have to divide both by 7. So when 35 is divided by 7, I get 5, and when 84 is divided by 7, I get 12. So we can say here 5 divided by 12 should be the simplest form of 35 ratio 84. So if I'm writing like 35 divided by 84 is equal to 5 divided by 12. So this is all equal. So this equation is very equal. And I have already told you that fractions can also be written in a ratios in this form, 5:12. This is all equal. So you can see that C should be the right answer of this question. So whenever the question is asking you to reduce in the simplest form, this is very easy to understand. Okay, first of all, write their fraction version. After that, find a table, like start from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So whatever the table you get, reduce, divide both numerator and denominator with this table. And after reducing whatever the value you get, that is the simplest form of the original fraction. So in this way, I hope you would have understood the second question as well. Now I'm just going to move further to the third question, and this is going to be like that. So now from this question onwards, the first two question was just to inform you regarding basics of how simplest form is done, how the ratios are made equal. So just for that, we have posted that. Now this is the third question. From this question, the original finding of ratios shall start. And I must tell you, if you are if you are very sound in applying mathematical operations and the basic tables, then you can make any kind of mathematical equation to solve these kind of questions. So I'm just going to read this. This is asking that in a class there are 20 boys and 15 girls. So we have been given 20 boys and 15 girls, and the question is saying the ratio of boys to girl is, so the ratio has been asked. So in that case, what you have to do, you just write here. Why I have posted this question? Just for making your concepts again very clear. So you can see here has been written boys to girls. Boys to girls. Okay, so just read this line. That means boys should be at numerator. 2 stands for the line of division, and girls should be at the denominator. So boys should be at numerator. This is 20. 2 stands for the divisor line. Then girls should be at a denominator. This is 15. So this is the ratio of boys to girl. Okay. So what you have to do whenever this kind of situation is there, you always have to reduce it to the simplest form, which I have already explained you in previous questions. How you can reduce this? That you just have to find a table at which both the numerator and the denominator can be divided. So with 2, these cannot be divided. With 3, these cannot be divided. 4 cannot be divided. But with 5, table of 5, both 20 and 15 can further be divided. So if I am dividing 20 by 5, I get the value of 4. If I divide 15 by 5, I get the value of 3. So the simplest version of the ratio between boys and girl is 4 divided by 3. So we can also write it like 4:3. So 4:3 should be our right answer, and this has been given in option A. I am explaining you in extreme detail. I am again telling you, okay, the only reason being I wish to clear all your concepts, only then you will be able to solve the questions regarding data interpretation very fastly. Okay, so this was the third question. Now we are going to move next question, and their level should be somewhat advanced from now onwards. So see this question. So this question is saying two numbers are in the ratio 7 and 9. So ratio of numbers have been given. We can say that we can assume these we can write like two ratios are in 7 divided by 9. Okay. If the sum of number is 112, so their total has been given. Okay. Then the larger number is, we have been asked then what is the larger number. We don't know the numbers. Okay, but we know their ratio. We know their ratio. Okay, so we can easily write like 7:9. And if you see that the ratio is the actual ratio, so we can write like this as well: 7x/9x. The reason being these are the actual ratios. This is the actual ratio. Here x is the variable which is representing to how many quantities can be multiplied with 7 or 9, so that we can get the original numbers. Again, understand this, and I'm just rubbing this all. Again, understand this. Okay, this is 7:9. So we have been given that two numbers are in the ratio 7:9. So 7:9 is given the ratio between two numbers, and this ratio is actual ratio. And in the case when you are when you have been given with the actual ratio between two numbers, you can easily write like 7x/9x. You can write these two numbers as this as well. Okay, so why to write x? The only reason is x is the variable which represents to the quantities. It represents to quantities which can be multiplied with 7 and 9, so that you can get the original numbers. Okay, so all you have to do, you have to find the value of that variable. If you find the value of that variable, you can easily solve any kind of question. So we have been given the sum of the number is 112. We know that the first number is 7x, the second number is 9x, and we have been given their total. Their total is 112. So we know that the variable x is in both the items or both the numbers. We can easily add that. We can write 16x is equal to 112. Now we can easily find the value of the variable x. To find that, we can keep the x in the left hand side and take the 16 on the right hand side as a denominator to 112. And when we do that, we can reduce 112 to the table of 16, and we get the value of 8. So value of x variable should be 88. Okay, so now if we write, what I told you, that you can write the first number as this as well and second number as this as well. So I told you x is the variable which holds for a specific quantity. which if multiplied by any of the given number, you can, any of the given ratio number, you can get the original value. So if I multiply 7 by 8 or 9 by 8, you can get the original value of the numbers. Okay, so the original value of first number should be 56. This is 7 multiplied by 8, and the second should be 9 multiplied by 8. This should be 72, and we have been asked that what is the large number, so this is 72. So 72 has been given in option B, so we will choose this as our possible answer. So in this way you have to solve these kind of question. I hope you would have enjoyed this question, and in this detail no one is going to explain you. Nowhere in any website or in any format you can get that kind of explanation. So what you have to do, you have to find the value of a variable. If you find the value of a variable, that variable refers to the quantity which can be multiplied by the original ratio figures. And if these are multiplied, then you can get the value of original numbers, which I have already proved you in this question. I hope you would have enjoyed this a lot. So now just going to move further. This is going to be the next question. This is question number 5. So this is saying that the length and breadth of the rectangle are in ratio 3:1. Okay. So we have been given length and breadth. Length and breadth ratio is 3:1. 3 divided by 1. For this is the first equation. This is the equation number 1. This is how you can, first of all, you should begin with. Okay. So the question is saying if the breadth is 7 centimeters, so the value of breadth is already given to us. Okay. So value of breadth is given to us. We can write here like 7 is equal to 3 divided by 1. You can also write it like that. Okay. So you have been asked then the length of the rectangle. You have been asked that what is the value of L. So you can easily find that. Okay, you have to do cross multiplication. Cross multiplication, I believe that you are already aware of, being the aspirant of NetGRF now. You have to take this 7 to right hand side and this 1 to the left hand side. You have to multiply L by 1 and you have to multiply 3 by 7. By multiplying L by 1, you get the value of, you get L, and when multiplying 3 by 7, you get the value of 21. So in this way, you can get the value of length of the rectangle, and this is 21. And at option D, this has been given clearly. You can choose this as your right answer. So in this way, you can find any kind of value. If you can make the equation. So first of all, the prerequisite of solving these kind of a question is you must be able to find mathematical equations. Number of questions are yet to come, and I am going to explain one by one how the complicated mathematical equations can be made. I hope you would have understood this question. In case of any query, you can leave us any kind of questions. So see this question now. So it has been given that in a library, okay, so there is a library, ratio of number of story books to non-story books was 4:3. Okay, so we have been given story books, non-story books. This ratio is 4:3. In this ratio, these have been given. Okay, so we have been given this. And the total number of story books was 1248. So the value of a story book variable has been given to us. So we can write easily like 1248 divided by non-story books is equal to 4 divided by 3. And if we do this kind of thing, we can easily get the number of non-story books. So first of all, before even reading the next line, we can solve the value of non-story books. And how you can find, you just have to do the cross multiplication as I have already taught you. So 1248 should be multiplied by 3 and 4 should be multiplied by NSB. You can take this 4 further to the right hand side. So we can write like 1248 divided by 4 multiplied by 3. You can write it this as well. And that shall be the value of non-story books. So if we divide these, you have to cut any of the given numerator value with the table of 4. So if I cut that, I get the value of 312. And after that, if I multiply 312 with 3, I get the value of 936. So the total number of non-story books are 936 books. So this value we have got. Okay, so now we move further and we see what has been asked in the examination. So the question is saying when some more storybooks were bought. Okay, some more storybooks were bought, the ratio becomes 5:3. Okay, so now we have the value of non-story books is 936. The question is saying some more storybooks were purchased, the ratio has become 5:3. So we are writing here like 5:3. We don't know the exact number of the storybooks right now after purchasing, but we know the value of non-story books. This is 936. So this is the second equation. I'm going to solve this equation. So this is the new ratio. These are the new values, but the exact value of SB I don't know. So that's why I have made this equation. So if I'm solving this, okay, I can take this 936 to this to that position, to that side. So we can easily find the number of storybooks. 5 divided by 3 multiplied by 936. You can see that 936 can be reduced with a table of 3, and if I reduce that, I get the value of 312. So when I multiply this 312 by 5, I get the value of 1560 books. So the total number of story books after purchasing new story books becomes 1560. Okay, so this is the total number of storybooks after purchasing new books. So after purchasing new books, you have these many books, 1560. But we have been asked find the number of storybooks bought. How many were bought new? So this is the original number of the storybooks, and that was the previous number of storybooks. And when you reduce from the current number of storybooks with the previous numbers of the storybooks, you can get the value of the books bought, actually bought. So 312 books were again bought. This is why the new ratio had become 5:3. So 312 should be the right answer of this question. In this question, just I must tell you, making mathematical equation is very easy process, and you can make these kind of equation very fastly. And I must tell you, these questions I have not solved before, because this presentation has not been prepared by me. I am just watching the question and I am just making the equation. If I can do that, you can also do that. The practice is all yours. Yet there are a number of questions to come. After that, you can get to know again how further mathematical equations can be made. So this is going to be the question number 7th. So this question is saying you, Ajay and Raj together have 1050 rupee. Okay, so we know that A plus R, the amount with A plus amount with R is equal to 1050 rupee. The next line is on taking 150 from Ajay. Okay, if we take 150 rupee from Ajay, Ajay will have the same amount as what Raj had earlier. Okay, so that is saying that if we reduce, if we take from Ajay 150 rupee, then he shall have same amount as the Raj is having. So we can write here like 1A minus 150 plus R that is the first condition that that all you know. Okay, that all you know. This can be the equation, because a is already, I'm just writing here again. So we know that a and r jointly are having 150 rupee, they are in joint. But if we take 150 from a, then whatever the balance is left, they both of these parties shall be having the equal money. Okay, so if we take 150 from a, that means if we are reducing from 1050 the amount of 150, then we are left with the value of 900 rupee. That 900 rupee is possessed by a and r equally. A and r equally. That means the ratio between the holding of a and r is 1:1. That means a is holding 900 multiplied by half, and r is also holding 900 multiplied by half. This is 450 and this is 450. That means if we are taking from a 100 rupee, then both the parties shall have 450 rupee each. This has been asked to us to find. So find the ratio of amounts with Ajay and Raj initially. But initially Ajay had, so we can write Ajay is having 450 rupee and Raj is also having 450 rupee. But this was not the case earlier. This is the case when we have taken 150 from Ajay. Only then the ratio has become equal. But earlier Ajay was having 150 rupee more than Raj. That means earlier Ajay was having 600 rupee, but Raj was having 450 rupee. So we have been asked to find the ratio of amounts of Ajay and Raj initially. So initially they were having this much money. So we have been asked their ratio. So 600 divided by 450 should be the ratio of the amounts they were having earlier. So if we find their ratio, we can easily find that these two items can be further divided with the table of 15. And if we reduce these to the lower or simplest term, we can find the value of 4 divided by 3, and we can write it like 4:3. So 4:3 should be right answer, and this has been given in option D, and we should choose this option as to be right option. So in this way, I'm not just going to go very deeply now how I have cut all these figures, because now I believe that being here, this is the question number 7th. Now you would be able to solve or cut these kind of figures easily. So in this way, you have to find these kind of equations and these kind of questions. Just going to move further. This is going to be question number 8th. And this question is saying that, so this is somewhat advanced level. This question is somewhat more advanced. Okay. So this is saying that the ratio of two numbers is 3:8. I have already told you, when you have been given that 3:8, the rate 8 is the ratio of two numbers, you can easily write these like 3x ratio 8x, because it's easier than writing this, because it do not refer to the absolute value, but this refers to the absolute value. You can easily write here 3x divided by 8x. You can write this way as well. So we have been given that the ratio of the two number is 3:8. I have written like 3x divided by 8x. On adding 5 to both number, we have been given that you have to add 5 to both numbers. So you can add these. So added 5 here and added 5 here. If we add 5 to both number, the ratio becomes 2:5. Then this becomes 2:5. It becomes this. So this is the equation. So solving this equation can produce you the actual value of x. And if we get the value of variable x, we can easily find the value of original number. Okay. So just do the cross multiplication. I am doing that. I'm taking 5 to this side and all this value to this side. I'm taking like 3x plus 5, and that should be multiplied by 5. and I am taking 2 here, and it should be multiplied by 8x plus 5. And if we solve these further, we get the value of 15x plus 25, and here we get 16x plus 10. So you can take the x figures to one side and the remaining figures to the other side. If we do that, we can get the value of x, and that should be I think that should be 25 minus 10, that should be 15. Okay, so this is 15. So this is the 15. So we can say that the value of the variable x is 15. So I have already told you that the first number is 3x and the second number is 8x. If you solve this further, we have already found the value of variable x. You can write here like 3 multiplied by 15 and 8 multiplied by 15. In this way, you can find the value of original numbers. The first original number was 45, and the second, if I multiply 8 by 15, I get the value of 120. We have been asked in the question, which is the smaller number out of 2? This is 45. So 45 should be our right answer, and this has been given in option C. In this way, you can solve these kind of questions. I hope one by one, as I am giving you the explanation of a number of questions, you would be understanding how the mathematical equations are made and how these kind of questions are solved. So now just going to move further. This is going to be the question number 9th. So this question seems to be somewhat typical. We see what is this. It's saying that by giving rupee 50 to M, by giving rupee 50 to M, A would have amount equal to what M had earlier. Okay, so again there are two parties. Okay, the first party is A and the second party is M. It's saying that if we give rupee 50 to M, then both these parties shall have the equal amount. Okay, equal amount. So, and again, if the sum of the amounts with the A and M is 65, so we have been given the total of the amount which they both are possessing. This is 650. Okay. So now if we give extra 50 to M, then the total amount would be 700. Okay. So we have been already given that if we give rupee 50 extra to M, then the total amount with them will be equal. So 700, if we divide 700 equal with A and M, then we can get to know what is the original value they both are having. So they both are having now 1:1. This is equal in ratio. So 700 divided by half and 700 divided by half. This is 350. This is 350. Now they both are possessing 350 rupee because we have already given extra 50 rupee to M. Now the question is saying what is the ratio of amount with A to that with M earlier. Okay, so this 350 amount M has got because he has been given extra 50 rupee. But if these were not given to him, then certainly he would be having only 300 rupee. So initially A had 350 rupee and M had 300 rupee only. And the question is asking to find their ratio. So 350 divided by 300, if we are doing that, we can easily see that these can be simplified further with a table of 5. And if I am simplifying that, I get the value of 7 divided by 6, and I can write it like 7:6. So 7:6 has been given in option D. So we shall select it as our possible answer. So in this way, I hope you would be getting the idea of how these kind of questions are solved. So you have solved this question by now. Now I am going to move further, and this is going to be the next one. So this is question number 10th. Okay, so it seems to be somewhat typical, and we see what is there for us. I'm going to tell you, I think 10 or 11 or 12 questions are there, and after that we shall be delivering you as usual the PDF notes in which some questions are there. Although the probability of the question being asked in this exam from this specific chapter is only 50%, but still, as I wish to cover your topics, because the upcoming lecture is going to be regarding proportions and percentages, you would be able to solve proportion and percentages only if you understand the concept regarding ratio. This is why we have included so many questions in this video lecture, and if this becomes the larger one, then this should not be the case for you. Okay, because we have to move very faster now, because you cannot delay further. You have to assume that tomorrow is your examination. This, on this basis, you have to practice and you have to prepare yourself for the examination. This is why we are moving, this is why the reason we are not nowadays taking large number of live classes. The only reason is that we have to cover, I'm recording as maximum content as possible, so that you get it and you can clear your concept. So I must tell you, although we have not taken any lecture yesterday or day before yesterday, still we are at advanced level. If I have delivered you this lecture today, I have already given you the lectures regarding paper second as well, and these contain the information which we were supposed to deliver the next week. Okay, so we are already advanced. You are not supposed to be bothered about the schedule. So this is question number 10th. This is saying Ravi started off a business with a capital of 60,000. This has been given to us. Okay. Later he was joined with Kishan with 40,000 as his share. So share of both the parties have been given. This is 60,000 and this is 40,000. Okay. If the Kishan receive 1/3 of the total profit after 2 years, how many months did he invest for? So this is the question actually. So in profit, the Kishan has received 1/3. So let the total profit was rupee 1. That was rupee 1. And Kishan has got 1/3. That means if I reduce it further, like 1 minus the share of Kishan, that is 2/3. That means this was the share of Ravi. So if we are making the share profit share of Ravi and Kishan, then you can get to know that that becomes 2:1 or 2:1. This should be the ratio of the distribution of a profit between these two. And I must tell you, if none kind of other information is given, other things being constant, then the ratio of a profit should be equal to ratio of capital invested multiplied by time. I hope you are getting my point. Okay, if the ratio of distribution of a profit is given, that is always equal to the capital invested multiplied by time. Capital invested multiplied by time by both the parties of R and Kishan. So we can solve this easily now. Okay, you have already got all the information. I'm going to solve this. 2 divided by 1 should be equal to capital invested by Ravi multiplied by total time period of the investment. This is 12 years for Ravi, because after 1 year the distribution has been made. Ravi has started the business 1 year before, and Kishan has joined for 40,000 rupee, but his joining date is not given, so we can write here T. So you can easily see that by solving this equation, you can easily find the answer of this question. Okay, so I'm just going to solve that. All these zeros can be cut. Okay, this is the simple equation. I hope you would have got idea of that. I'm going to take this T to the left hand side and this 2 to the right hand side. If I do that, I get T is equal to 6 multiplied by 12 divided by 4 multiplied by 2. And if we reduce these further, like 6 can be divided by 2, we can get the value of 3, and 12 can be divided by 4, we can get the value of 3. When 3 is multiplied by 3, we get 9, and these are the actual months of investment by the Kishan. This has been given at option D, so we shall choose it as our possible answer. So in this way, you can solve any kind of questions. Okay, this way. So what you have learned from this question, this specific question, this is the thing that if the ratio of distribution of a profit has been given, then the ratio is always equal to capital invested multiplied by time. Capital invested multiplied by time of different parties. So this is all you have learned from this specific question. So I'm just moving further. Let's see if there is any question. Otherwise, this will be the end of this lecture only. So okay, now this, I think the still some questions are remaining. I don't know how many of these. Maybe this is the last one. I just check it. Okay, so this is the last one. I'm going to solve that. This has been said that 48 is 30% of what number? Okay, so there is a number which we don't know. We assume it X. So it has been given that the 30% of this number, 30% means 30 divided by 100. 30% of this number is 48. You can see that how easily I have made this equation. On the basis of this equation, I can easily find the value of X, and this has been asked to us in this question. So 48 multiplied by 100 divided by 30. I'm not going to explain how I have written this because I have explained it so many times. So 0 can be cut with 0, and 48 can be divided with the table of 3 in the simplest format. We can get the value of 16, and when we multiply 16 by 10, we get the value of 160. 160 is the original value of X, and that has been given in option B, and we shall select it as our possible answer. In this way, you can find any kind of fraction or the questions regarding ratios. So I hope this complete lecture you would have enjoyed a lot. Now we are completely advanced for 3 or 4 days, but still I am not going to be idle these days. Okay, we are going to record as many lectures as possible so that before our examination, at least 5 to 6 modules could be covered. Otherwise, it would not be possible if we follow the regular schedule. So I hope you have got information regarding this. That was just the basic of what we have to cover in proportion and percentages. So I hope you would have enjoyed this lecture a lot. It was all about that. And regarding the next lecture, if we are going to take it live in this way, we shall be informing you for sure. The next is going to be regarding proportion and percentage. And regarding paper 2, we are already advanced. Only 2 or 3 concepts are left, which are going to be recorded, I think, today evening. And if these are recorded, certainly before time, you shall be getting all the required data to be studied. Thank you so much for joining me in this lecture. This was Gurpal Singh from Gursur Education.